ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions, and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for La Joquita Del Paro, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UWI Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Welcome to ieTV's Election 2025 Results Program. Today, our country has completed the election process and we are now beginning getting the results. In studio, we have a panel and we have our outside broadcast teams at UNC headquarters and at PNM headquarters, from whom we'll be joining from time to time. In our panel today, at this time, we have Mr. Jairam Simangal, former Member of Parliament, former Minister, and also former Deputy Chairman of the House of Representatives. Also is Professor Prakash Prasad, who was President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago and a former head of in the Senate, my apologies, minority leader in the Senate some years ago. As we begin, we want to go firstly to Mr. Simangal to get his thoughts and perspectives on what happened today. Mr. Simangal.
Thank you very much, Pandit, and to your viewing audience, thank you for having me. Today, we have again completed a democratic process of voting. I was out at the constituency of La Joquita Del Paro for the entire day, and the process itself did not go without hiccups. Like every election, there are many trials and tribulations which we as a UNC party and a UNC group has to keep vigilant of. So today's process, for example, I'll give you some example. I live in Trin City and I went out to vote in the Anglican school that's next to the Eddie Hart Recreation Ground. And within the 300 meters as prescribed by the rules, where no canvassing, no flyers, no banners of either party should be there, there were PNM banners still up on the entire fence leading to the school, and that was within the 300 meters. There were PNM flags still up within the 300 meters. So there were no UNC flags or no UNC banners or no UNC anything wrong, none of the other parties as well. But for the entire corridor walking on that 300 meters, there was the PNM flags and banners up. So one asks, sometimes asks the question. In La Joquita Del Paro constituency in particular, at 10:50 in the morning session at the Jacob Hill area, one of the polling stations, 3 polling stations were there, and they were canvassing by the PNM members within the 300 meters, within the grounds of the polling station. And I had to intervene to put a stop to it. And when I went there, the police, they throw their hands up in the air and they didn't know what to do. The presiding officers, they give up. They didn't know what to do. And I had to remind them that they are in charge of the station on that particular day. I have worked when I was younger as a presiding officer on 3 occasions And the rules always with the EBC is that on the day of election, the presiding officer is in charge and even in charge of the police officers.
I see.
It is the only time that a civilian could instruct a police officer. And that is the frustration that is met all the time. There are many occasions when the names were there and they were not, constituents were not allowed to vote, and we had to intervene again. And these are things that should not really happen.
Why weren't they allowed to vote?
They didn't have the ID card at that point in time, and because they didn't have the ID card, it's a simple process. The rules provide that if their name is in the binder, they are allowed to vote. They take the oath and you vote.
Yeah.
And you vote. You do affirmation, you do the declaration of secrecy, and you are allowed to vote. So these are things that should not be happening in this day and age with the amount of technology that we have, the amount of camera system that we have. And coming back to the Jacob Hill scenario, I had to intervene and call the senior superintendent in Northern Division for him to intervene in this process and have task force police come and stay and man the station, because clearly the police officers weren't doing their job at that point in time. So they had to send persons who probably knew the job better and to get it done. But it is things like these that we are seeing more and more on these elections. But today I can predict that the UNC will be smiling at the end of tonight, and I am certain that the tides of change is almost upon us. So.
Well, it's still early times. We haven't started getting any significant results yet. But that La Joqueta Talparo seat, it's always been one of the marginals, as it is. I'm looking at the results for the last, from 2010, 2015, 2020. How do you see the trend changing? 2015 had the largest voter turnout, 72%. How do you see it, your estimate for this year?
Prior to me winning the seat in 2010, it was never felt to be a marginal constituency. Matter of fact, it was a PNM constituency.
Okay.
The results of 2007 was at 8,300 for the PNM, that's 57% of the voters, and 3,400 for the UNC. That's the maximum they would have gotten at any point in time in election before that. Matter of fact, they were less in some of the elections before that. The turnout at that election was about 14,400. In my election in 2010, I moved that figure from 3,400 to 8,700, and I got 52% of the votes, and the turnout at that election was 16,483.
Yes.
In 2015, in that election was the highest turnout in the constituency, 18,196 persons voted. I got 7,600, and the PNM in that election got 10,400. In 2020, the PNM dropped back to under the 10,000, and they got to 9,700. And the UNC maintained that margin, which is above the 7,000, and they got 7,700. But in that election, some 1,000, at least 500 persons did not vote. So it went down to 17,600.
64.1%.
That's correct. So we are seeing now, what we are seeing more and more is that the young people, now bear in mind, when Eric William won election way back when we got independence, the generation today is about 4 generations now. They are the ones who are voting. We are no longer really living in a country where our parents and our grandparents hold the card and tell you, hey, you have to do this, otherwise. I have seen firsthand in the constituency of La Joqueta, Talparo and La Joqueta in particular, where a mother would have told a child, hey, you know what you have to do when you go out there. And if the PNM win, if the PNM lose, you'll have to find somewhere else. So that is the type of pressure that young people are facing to make up their minds on what they have to do. So But the young people are more rebellious. They are type, they are people, they are persons, they are independent thinking. And their minds are much different now for when they used to. So what we have noticed in that constituency, and like most of the other constituency, when the number of voters go up, it is really the younger generation are coming out to vote. Mm-hmm. They want to make a difference. My daughter turned 18 last year, and this is her first election. And she had exams in university today. But she wanted to go out and vote before she go to do her exams, because she feels that it is necessary for her to exercise her franchise and exercise her choice of who she wants to be the leaders of this country. So more and more, again, we are seeing young people turning out, we are seeing young people supporting, we are seeing young people rebelling against the generation of the past.
I see. Professor Prakash, let's get your initial thoughts on this whole election season and coming up to election night tonight.
Well, I think this is a watershed moment in Trinidad. But I think it's a turning point, inflection point, or whatever term you want to use. But interestingly, I can speak for St. Joseph a bit in more detail. Mm-hmm. This is the first time I've seen, for the past many years, that the candidate, the UNC candidate, seemed to have gotten a lot of support from traditional PNM areas, like Maitao, Maldor, mm-hmm. these sort of places, mm-hmm. which is augurs well for the UNC. So, because I think this is what you need to do. Overall, I think, is one country we live in. Everybody, if it goes, everybody goes down also. So this is something must bear in mind. But the point of the long lines in the elections, I voted in Aranguez, and I think there are very simple measures that can be taken to avoid long lines. So, for instance, the layout was very poor. A simple thing like that, have enough space between where you give your card, etc., and to where you go to vote. So there's enough. You don't have to stop the line for people to come in. So a simple, workflow analysis could be done by anybody. So I think the EBC needs to look at these simple things, and they could improve the efficiency a lot better. So these are sort of things I hope as we go forward, I think they should make use of that. But interestingly, also when you speak to people, most people speak to, everybody seems to think it's too close to call. That seems to be the general consensus.
Is it that or yeah, I think people are very careful about making pronouncements, even our pollsters.
They're very cautious.
Yeah, polling really is almost like astrology.
Yes.
You're making a big guess.
I mean, Moody was expected to wipe out India, and what happened to the polling? The polling had showed him cleaning up all the election and where he fell.
Yeah.
See?
But even the US just said Ms. Harris would win.
Yeah, clearly. She was way ahead in the polls.
And Trump won.
And Trump won by 60-something%.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. Any other controversies you all came across today?
Well, I saw reports where there were people shared money, right?
Yes.
But that is difficult to prove who they represented, because they had on no party symbols, no party vehicles, etc. So that I understand in St. Joseph somebody got arrested by the police. Mm-hmm. But it has to be determined who he was representing on these sort of things. That is very difficult to do. Mm-hmm. But clearly there was some attempt at vote by.
I think in elections that are close like this and the nature of our politics, what are your thoughts, gentlemen? Do you think we have moved away a bit from racial voting? Simangal?
When I see the amount of Afro-Trinidadians supporting us in this particular election, it actually started in 2010. I can speak for Lauk at Talcott, and I've seen it for myself. When in 2010, I could not have won a constituency, which is predominantly African in that constituency, without the African support. In 2015, we had quite a lot of them supporting us as well. 2020. And this election, I've seen the amount of youths and young African boys and girls coming out to support us. I think we have really gone way beyond the racial barriers, as you may put it. We have passed some of those barriers, and that we are now attracting persons from all ethnic groups.
I think this is quite an interesting area, and I would want us to develop it further, because even the issue of former members of parliament crossing over from one party to another, and the reactions, and so we will discuss further. But at this time, we'll take our commercial break and then return with more. Do stay with us. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro, and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
It's Extra Foods, plenty for 20, back to school bonanza. Got apples, 10 for $20. Fruit Cool Kids, 8 for $20. Rosemont chicken Vienna sausages, 4 tins for $20. Perdix chicken fries, 2 for $20. Swiss spaghetti, 3 packs for $20. Kirkland chewy granola bars, 8 for $20. Swiss peanut butter, $20. Europe fries 1 kilogram, $20 a pack. And so much more. Plus, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for even more specials. Extra Foods, always extra for less.
ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions, and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for Lahokita Telparo, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Welcome back to ieTV Election Results 2025. I now want to turn to Mayor of Arima, Mr. Baliram Maharaj, prominent businessman, as he begins our conversation with his initial thoughts and comments on our elections today.
Well, thank you, Mr. Monitor, for having us here, and my legal friend and professor and members of the public. Good night. Let's have some fun tonight. Some will cry, some will laugh, but the people will speak tonight, and we'll have to, whoever wins, I hope that the general public put the game of politics aside and continue to support in a time like what we are living in, especially with the trade war going on. What I did for the day, I went, stayed my finger, and I went in my job, and I continue to prepare myself because I have to go on business this week. So my next stop was where I promised to be here tonight. I cleared my desk. I look at Mr. Jairam with a dazzling shirt tonight, right? I heard him. Who started to be a politician 10 years ago, and it's the biggest joke for me. As a lawyer who works for us, I told the wife, well, madam, could you send your husband, I hear you going for an election? And he's the first politician I heard to say, no, I don't want nothing, man. It amazed me. But after a while, he understands what is money and how to find ways and things to work for the people. I think he made 5 years in government. Am I right?
Yeah, 5 years.
He tried his best, and after they lost, well, he's on the field again. Welcome. God bless you. Wish you good luck.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maharaj. Before the break, we were discussing the idea of what we are seeing with the change of tradition. You find, you made the point you made, people, their parents will tell them, okay, we are PNM or we are UNC. And the children are expected to follow like that. Yeah. You are saying people are tending to become more open in this regard now. And in this election, something that I think struck many people is the point that you made earlier, that the UNC saw a lot of African origin support. The PNM has Indian support also, there is that crossover. But if we look at some of the cases, for example, former Attorney General John Jeremy, and the reaction that came to his standing up on a UNC platform. And then on the other side, we have like Dinesh Rambali, who is a Mahasabha executive member, and now they seem to be gone to the PNM. How do you all reconcile these things? And the sort of reaction from the political parties?
Should I go first? Yes?
Yeah, please.
But John Jeremy, it is sad. It is really saddening to see the reaction coming from his side, his team. If he chooses to exercise his franchise, and he had done that, chooses to exercise his franchise differently, it is really sad to see what they would have tried to create of an impression of him that is beyond what politics should be. Politics should be an all-inclusive type organization where we both accept members from the other side.
Yeah.
Dinesh Rambali, on the other hand, it was the Mahasabha who was speaking on behalf of all Hindus, and I don't think they had anybody give them, all Hindus give them that authority to say we are all PNM. It doesn't operate like that. If you are representing an institution, you also have to realize and remember that it is a sector of people that you are representing. You don't just throw your hands in the ring and expect that the institution in which you are representing wouldn't shun you or wouldn't cast you aside or wouldn't draw aspersion of what you are dealing with. Unlike John Jeremy, he's an individual, came across, and he represents himself. But when you are representing a large sector of Trinidad, and we know Trinidad have always been one where it is one race against the other, and that type of infighting for years, we have to be careful as individuals when we represent a certain sector of society that we do not make it feel or believe or even the impression that we are carrying the entire sector with us when we are moving towards individual decision to move and join a political party, because politics is different.
Who is not allowed to contest for a political party, and then the next morning he jumps on another political platform, it strikes me as opportunism. Nothing to do with really desire to serve. I mean, I'm just making a comment there. I don't know how the panel sees it.
I have seen certain persons who are bad talking and bad mounting the PNM the day before, and even the week before, and years before, and all of a sudden they hugging up and behaving that PNM is best thing on the earth. I mean, it is clearly opportunity that they are seeking. I mean, when the PNM lost tonight, I hope that feeling.
Well, we are a long way off from that. Maybe we could just go to some results that we've just gotten. Mayaro. Maybe we can put up Mayaro that we are seeing. PNM 5. These are preliminary results. PNM 555. UNC 1,284. All right, from the I don't have the as at now.
That's now.
Yeah, it'd be certain.
How much PDs? They didn't say.
How many stations? How many polling stations is that?
We won't know. I don't have it on this at this point. As the results come in, we'll update. Professor Prakash, you wish to comment on this issue as we go forward?
Yeah, I think two things. Firstly, is that as a matter of fact, the Mahasabha does not represent all Hindus in this country. That's a fact.
Yeah.
All right, and it's very unfortunate that they claim to so do. That's one thing. Nobody will deny that they are probably the largest Hindu organization.
In terms of institutions.
Institutions, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of support, I don't know. So I think that, so that's one thing. The other thing is I've been observing this Mr. Rambali, Pandit Rambali, over a year now, and he is very disgruntled with the UNC. Right, so I think I agree with you. It's a matter of personal ambition, or maybe more ambition than talent, or whatever you want to say. Right. So it has nothing to do with it. So if fella does it, I think he has done himself a great disfavor by so doing. And I don't think he would have brought any support. I don't think so. And the evidence will show that, I believe. So, but I mean, on the larger picture, there's nothing wrong in people joining each party. There's nothing wrong with that. People can come in, go out, right? And I think the point former Minister Simangal made, John Jeremy came as an individual.
Yeah.
He didn't purport to represent the PNM. He was a former AG, twice. Yeah. He didn't. So this is all things that that we need. And I'm sure the voters now are a lot smarter than before. It's not like I am this party to the death. This kind of motto. The younger generation are a bit more discerning than that.
So let's just go to some other results that we've just gotten. Chaguanas East, can we have it put up? PNM 985, UNC 2,664. Those are the results at this time. Yeah, but that's a traditional UNC seat. Nothing is.
Is
it marginal?
It's trending in the correct direction.
From your perspective.
But this is classified as marginal.
Yeah.
Those are marginal seats, yes.
Yeah, so we see how it goes. Mr. Maharaj, any inputs you want to make at this point? Yeah.
On the topic a while ago, where we spoke about people moving from one party to another party, like Mandela, like Gandhi, a country 60 years of independence, inside of a national anthem, where every creed and race have an equal place. Trinidad and Tobago have a wealth of culture, sports, and religion. And that is our right.
Yeah, certainly.
And if it's not John Jeremy, congratulations, it's Larry Lala on the other side, and Rachel, and then Dinesh, and then Philip and Alexander. And this is my dream, like what Mandela wanted. And it's time we see human beings, see that spark in everybody and see everybody as one. And I must say, without apologies, I was there as a little boy in the Constitution was written by Dr. Eric Williams. He clearly stated that this party, and the word he used was conceived like a little baby, for all in one, all inclusive, for all and all for. And today we see Dr. Rowley repeated that. Well, when you look at the 41 seats on each side, as a senior citizen here today, brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago, I have a dream, and my dream is fulfilled, to see people of this country, a different race on either side.
Yes.
And I'll say, go for it.
Yeah.
We don't want no more we and them. It's Trinidad, no more Mother India, no more Mother Africa. Let's have two parties. 62 years ago, I congratulate both leaders for having that. And I hope it's not a cosmetic. I'm sure it is.
Window dressing, as it's called.
And window dressing. Let's see that divine spark, what is there and what we saw for these 241 seats.
Yeah, I think generally what we are seeing and what we really should hope for is that, and I don't know, I mean, you people may have a better sense of it, if we would ever get to the point where we no longer vote on ethnicity, but we vote on issues and policies. Because the other question is, what policies change when parties change? Now, UNC has come across as very pro-labor now. And PNM is being portrayed as basically, you know, in this campaign, it was the third idea, the 1%, was supporting the 1%. That was very well argued, I think, on the platform. But we will discuss it further. Let's look at another result. We have Cuba South coming in, PNM 211. If you can put it up, please. PNM 211, UNC 1150. So again, early days, but results are coming in. So let's come back to our conversation in terms of, as we wait on results, because these are issues sometimes people don't want to discuss openly, right? Are our parties truly inclusive in Trinidad and Tobago at this time? Sasimanga.
I think we are getting there. We are opening the doors. I can speak for the UNC that we have opened the doors for everyone to be part of the United National Congress. I think we have moved beyond an Indo-Trinidad-based party. The sugar industry have long gone. There's no longer a sugarcane industry party or a sugar welfare party. It's a party that is inclusive of East Indian, African, Chinese, whoever wants to join and whoever wants to be part of progress. Really comes on board the United National Congress. So I think we are, and we are seeing it trending with the young people who really don't take sides in who has more of whichever race. They are really taking sides of who they feel fits the better party or the better institution to manage the country at this point in time. And I think that is where we are with respect to the ethnicity today as compared to yesterday.
Professor Prakash?
I was involved way back in 1989, Mr. Pandey, and I know he made a very, very conscious, deliberate attempt to make the party all-inclusive, and that has continued the way. Having said that, I think that, you know, this is something, you know, the United States, for instance, where they talk about problems openly. So there's a difference between having ethnic or cultural affinity, which is different and distinct from racism, right? So ethnic affinity certainly is an element, right? It shouldn't be the only element, but is an element. But the point that former Minister Simanga said that, where people are looking at concerns. So right now you talk to young people, and we spoke to a lot of young people in the St. Joseph area, and people said, I want a job.
Yeah.
Right? They don't care who gives a job, but they want a job. So the party that says, I can give you a job, I can set up something for you, that is the party that's going to appeal to them. And finally, it's important, like I say, maybe I am a reclusive, naive academic, but we have to look at the real politics also, where people say, I represent the entire country. But do they really represent the entire country in terms of resources, in terms of services? And that is something I think the country should look at in the data. Forget other, nebulous activity, but look at the data. Have you fixed all the roads in the country? Have you created, jobs across the country? This is what we need to look at. And I think then, when we do that, then I think the dream of, a unity is going to come forward.
I just want to add to what Professor has said, and he's quite right. I've been hearing a lot of the young people crying out for employment, and one of the things they are questioning is, why is it do we have so much of retired persons who are over the age of 60 employed in the public service? You know that there are persons who are close to 70, 75 years of age still working in the public service as contract workers, and young people who have 5 O-levels, A-levels, university degree cannot get employment. Something is unfair
why would
with
that
the
be
system.
so? I mean, as a former minister yourself, knowing the system.
I recall many years ago when that system started, is because the Service Commission was tardy in employing persons within the public service. And then I honestly believe that governments have gotten complacent by leaving them there and not properly training young people for succession, because succession planning in the public service is one of the most tedious or tardies of exercise, in that the public service, I honestly do not believe that they properly train persons for succession. Even simple things like payroll and these regular type of things that they do every month that they should be doing, they have retirees coming back to those. Writing letters, for instance, they are hire retirees to come back to write letters. So when you have 8,000 and 9,000 public servants should be retiring every single year, and you have 8,000 and 9,000 young people fit to come into the public service, because the public service is the biggest employer of persons in Trinidad. Unlike other countries where the private sector dominantly the employer, in Trinidad the public service is the main employer. And it was designed in such a way that you would have at least 5 to 7 persons retiring coming out of the system, and you would have money to pay 5,000 to 6,000 persons come into the system. But for many years now, it has that coming in has dwindled down. But the staying after 60 and continuing to work, it is something that the young people are looking at with very, very much concern as to why is it they are unemployed, and you have people who collect their pension, collect their gratuity, and still in the system and working for more money than they were paid. Yeah? Some of them will work for more money than they were paid in their last role of employment, and that is what young people are seeing, and that is why they have started retaliating and rebelling against government who cannot really make them employable.
Yes, that's quite interesting. Let's look at some more results. We have some results now coming in from Komoto Manzanilla. PNM 42, UNC 243. So that's what we're still very early days.
And this has always been a predominantly UNC seat, so you will see the trend
probably continuing like that.
Would continue for some time.
Mr. Maraj, what can we do? What do you think needs to be done? This issue of young people and getting them into the mainstream in terms of jobs. Mr. Simangal just spoke of some of the issues with positions not people not being moved from positions, so there's little room for growth. What can we do?
Well, just let me clear a position that I hold as mayor for Rima.
Sure.
I just was appointed, not appointed, but nominated to be mayor by the Prime
we just
Minister
switch?
in June 2 years ago.
Are we going to switch?
So I want tonight to speak in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago, and without affecting any one of the parties. I will say it loud and clear, Professor, you could take me on this right away. Our education system is the
Yeah.
worst, and I wish something could be done
Maharaj.
to change that SEC, where you have to, when those little children, 11, 12 years,
SE.
lessons,
SE.
SE, whatever it is, because I'm so mad at that. And those children are so depressed, the father, the mother, the neighbor, the grandmother, they have to get rid of that. And the same thing, a child could go to school and get the credits, and you put the proper people. I wrote on that already.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing now that one of the ministries the ex-Prime Minister created was a Ministry of Youth Affairs. And I think this is one of the greatest things that was done. And there's children that who cannot get through in school, SEC,
Yeah.
could find, and they're going and we are chaining them to agriculture.
Mr. Maharaj, let's hold that thought. At this time, we are going to prepare to go over to UNC headquarters as the opposition leader has arrived. As soon as that feed is up, we will go across to that point, master control.
All right, we hadn't heard what exactly the next Prime Ministers had to say, but our feeling here is that we are on the upswing, and a lot of the predictions we had thought about are beginning to show our way.
Professor, it's most appropriate that the first victory we announced tonight is that of Mrs. Prasad Bissessa.
That's as it should probably be.
Indeed. She, of course, was very measured in her response. We didn't hear much of what she said, but that would be her first address to the nation tonight. Clearly, she is going to be here with us later.
And it's appropriate that she be doing it on her own station.
Yes, indeed. And first that she first spoke in her constituency.
Yes,
a constituency that has been loyal to her for many years. She has served the constituency well, and that is aside from being an outstanding Prime Minister, of course, but she served the constituency very well. It's a rural constituency that has been ignored by the PNM for many years, and I could speak to that because there are issues with respect to water supply and so on.
But what I was saying before, and I think is what you had alluded to, is that in terms of her success, apart from all the things that have been said, is that she has been underestimated by too many people. And I think that, you see, when you underestimate someone and they come out, you begin to understand that in point of fact, they're much more stronger than you think they should be. And I think what has worked for her is that people never took her seriously. Number one, I think the next thing they never took very seriously was the fact of her ability to do the things. So it turns out that underestimation is in fact working for her.
So it's going to be a long evening for her, as for the rest of Trinidad and Tobago, but her home duty has been done in a manner of speaking, Jerome. She has addressed her team at her headquarters in Superior. Right. We congratulate Mrs. Prasad Bissessa on another resounding victory in Superior. She has been the long-standing member of Parliament, and so she has secured her election there, now to the larger picture.
And of course, I'm sure, and later on tonight, she will be here at the headquarters. I'm sure when we have the final victory to address the nation, most likely as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Let us tease our viewers a bit to indicate that we expect to be speaking with her sometime in the course of the evening.
Of course we will.
If you're at home, have a hot drink of your favorite beverage, a drink of your hot favorite beverage. I meant tea or coffee.
All right, sorry about
hot
that.
chocolate. You see,
Well, don't be too taken away. You want
no,
to
I
results.
meant
Is that a sign that we should have some stuff on,
No,
on this set?
no. Our
No.
stuff is this.
I mean, it's just,
no, but
yeah.
a hot drink. I noticed Kevin has
It's
not
like-
been
it-
paying
you know,
attention to that
It's like
observation.
you probably thought I was on the set and the people want water.
The people want water. Well, he has
No,
changed
the
that.
people want Kamla,
The
boy.
people want
Let's get right
Kamla.
now.
Yes.
That would be one of the seminal points in this campaign. When we reflect on it, I am paying high credence to Iowa's involvement and so on.
Right.
Tobago West,
We have a key election alert for Tobago West. Give us that, Ken.
the TPP
Tell us.
candidate, 1,005 to
We are continuing our
the-
election results 2025 on ieTV, and we have some more results from Mayaro for you. Maybe we can put it up so it can be seen. PNM 1828, UNC 3840. Any comments at this time, gentlemen, on Mayaro?
I will continue to say it is trending in the correct direction.
Yes. We are waiting our reporters at PNM headquarters. As soon as we have them up, we would be going over to them to get a sense of what's happening there. We continue our conversations at this time. Mr. Maharaj,
Could I
sure, go ahead.
I was like Professor, I clearly was elaborated on the education system.
Okay, sure.
Professor, could you help me in that?
Yeah, sure.
And you will say anything. I say it will be condemned.
No,
You are professor.
No, thank you, but I wouldn't condemn you. I would never do that.
No, as a privilege.
But you make a very valid point. One, the education system in Trinidad, I mean the primary and secondary in particular, these should be looked at. With the advent of AI, one wonders, what's going to happen? What kind of people? No, I can say at the university level, we have people who come in who can't add, who can't write, and who can't speak. So you wonder what's happening at the secondary level. So there needs to be some dramatic change there. Now, in terms of jobs, I don't understand. When you look at the amount of people who win scholarships and come back, and they prefer to pay back the scholarship money and go abroad than to stay here because there's nothing for them here, I think we can put a system, a sort of an internship system, not the OJT, which is different, where they can actually work in a variety of places, earn money, and learn the systems for succession planning. So they come into the system and go forward. That is something we need to look at. And the last thing, I think there needs to be a big change in the attitude culture. People should be educated not to get a job, but to actually start a company and do jobs and support the industry. I think that's what UTT was started to do, but I don't think it was fulfilled. So I think some effort should be placed that way.
I see. We just go to some more results. We go back to Chaguanas East, PNM 985, UNC 2664. Again, trending in that direction at this time.
It's trending in the correct direction.
Yeah, according to
I am safely seeing a 26 UNC in this election.
Okay, that's your
I can call
estimate.
election from now.
Yeah, well, we're still a long way off. We need to get results in from other areas. Let's talk a bit about the campaign as we await further results. Campaign strategies that were employed in this election. Professor Prakash, can you just go first? Yeah.
Well, I think the UNC claimed that they ran a very clean campaign, and I think they did actually. I was very live. I mean, the PNM truck and the UNC truck would pass every 5 minutes, alternate. So you were hearing what was happening, and I think the UNC kept it, positive. This is what we want to do. It didn't talk other people, right? I mean, I think whereas the PNM did a lot of that, at least in St. Joseph I can speak about. So I think generally speaking, I think the UNC took a decision to have a clean, positive campaign. I think in the main, they maintained that. And I think that resonated with voters.
Yeah. We just go to some more results before we continue. Tunapuna, one of the battleground areas. Early days, PNM 167, UNC 248. I guess it will depend on where the polling stations are as we go forward.
The closer ones.
Sorry?
The closer ones would come in first.
Yeah. So that's what we have in Tunapuna.
On the point, you finished?
Yes, please proceed, Mr. Marat.
Yeah, but on the point of the election, this election, I think Trinidad and Tobago must tap ourselves in the back. I couldn't believe it was an election going on, and I think I could easily say
You're quite right.
there were no serious accidents or confusion and
Incident.
bottle. So we owe ourselves.
Certainly, yeah.
And when I see Saturday night finish, I say, Lord, thank you. And then they had a calm Sunday, and then,
I actually saw a video of UNC and PNM supporters with their flags dancing to the same music on the streets.
Well, we do the same thing in cricket.
Yeah.
All of we jump up and support our party, cricket team. We do it in football. Why we can't do it in election and have fun? After 62 years of independence, I feel my dream came true. There will no more we and them in this country. As long as I have life in me, I will want to see I just take a note here. You had Jeremy, you have the union people on the other side that went across, Alexander, Mr. Kojo. Then on the other side, this boy is my blood nephew.
Who's that?
Larry Lala.
Okay.
No, I'm proud to say, Dinesh Rambali from the Mahasabha. Now you made a comment. I agree with you. Way things was done many years ago, and you would have wanted to go to their radio station, and they will say, no, you can't say this and that and all. Not like you all. You can't mix it too. You're dealing with, and you had a secretary before, the secretary now, two different things. This new secretary said, no, I am not in integrity again. I say, this is my family, I will go here. Because I'm here, I don't know why. I was asked to serve my country.
Correct.
And I did it, I asked people. And they said, take it and continue serving. God gave me the Chaconian bowl. I printed a book, and the book has done lessons. And that book will teach people how to write a contract, how to from a doubles one, they could
right
how to make 849.
A successful businessman. At this time, Mr. Maras, just hold that thought. We want to go over to before we go, another further result has come in. We go up to Chaguanas West, PNM 273, UNC 4394, and we have smaller parties. At Patriotic Front 122. Maybe while we wait for Kevin, we can talk about this. What is the effect of these smaller parties on this election, if any? What are your prognosis for that? You've already called 26 for the UNC. How do you see the smaller parties? What was the point?
At this point, I'm not seeing, based on the numbers, I'm not seeing really any impact, because I saw we pulled up one of the, is it county, is it Kuva? One of the Kuva seats where Makila Pandey went. Which one she had gone up in? Is it the Kuva North?
Kuva North.
Kuva North. Do we have the result for that one?
No, I don't have any. I'm not on
That will be interesting to see what is, because her father was the former member of parliament for that constituency. But as far as the others, I'm not seeing they would make any impact at all. So,
But Chaguanas West, this is quite a large margin of difference as we can expect.
Chaguanas West is like the safest UNC seat in this country. Jack Warner got 19,000 plus in that election when he had won, and I think that's the only seat that, apart from Siparia, is like the safest seat.
But average people on the ground, we have 17 parties contesting this election, right? I mean, it's something we should discuss. What motivates this? Is it that we don't want a PNM UNC thing, but none of the other parties seem to have the traction at this point?
I can just tell you. In 1982, I think was when they thought the ONR, and the exact word, if I should, not a damn seat from them, because there were several parties. In 1986, when they have the same sort of agreement there, it was 33-3. And that was the flow. People have not learned lessons in the past. That's why when history should be written and read all the time. Now, when you see 17 parties here, it's a waste of time. It boils down until I understand one of the parties was going around saying not to vote for another party. It was very confusing and several times.
Yeah, why would you be doing that?
I have a result for you.
Sure.
In the Laokita Talparo constituency,
Let me go back up.
yes, I don't know if you have it as yet.
No,
But
I don't have it
at
yet.
this moment, UNC 5,865, PNM 3,736, and that would include the majority of the PNM hardcore seats would have come in. Okay, they are closest to the electoral, to the
I see,
main
because you
session.
know that area well.
I know that area very well.
Yes.
So we are trending in
You're
the right
trending, you're trending in
direction.
the right direction from your perspective
Yes.
again. Okay, at this time, let's take a commercial break and then we will continue. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
It's Extra Foods Plenty for 20 Back to School Bonanza. Gather apples 10 for $20. For the cool kids 8 for $20. Rosemont chicken Vienna sausages 4 tins for $20. Perdix chicken fries 2 for $20. Swiss spaghetti 3 packs for $20. Kirkland chewy granola bars 8 for $20. Swiss peanut butter $20. Europe fries 1 kilogram $20 a pack. And so much more. Plus check us out on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok for even more specials. Extra Foods, always extra for less.
ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam C. Mangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for Lahokita Telparo, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam C. Mangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for Lahokita Telparo, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations. ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for La Hoqueta Talparo, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Welcome back to our election results 2025, and we just go to Siparia. Our sheet shows PNM 1921, UNC 1965. Gentlemen, I understand the seat has been called by the opposition leader at this point.
I've seen that one clearly for the United National Congress. The opposition leader gets more than 17,000 all the last elections gone so far. So it's clearly trending in the correct direction, in that the UNC is way ahead at this point in time. So I think she's right to call that seat from now.
It's not possible. I mean, there may be no surprises there really.
No, I think that gets 7,000 votes without that. None for the UNC is not a feasible possibility.
Plus, by now she would cross 10,000 votes. So once you cross 10,000 votes in a constituency, it's very unlikely that the opposition can keep up with that.
Yeah. All right. So
From the West, what are you saying here?
Some of the results are coming in that are being shared by
Yes.
our members.
First, Arabi.
Dowlat is ahead in San
Look
Fernando.
first.
San Fernando,
West, yeah, with it?
yes, our sheet hasn't,
He's ahead of
San
the-
Fernando West. Mr. Dowlat is ahead.
Call it out.
Yeah.
At
This
this
is
point,
correct.
yeah.
At this point,
Yeah.
he's ahead. I'm waiting for our sheets to update on the site before we have to keep going as they come in.
Chaguanas West seem to be calling that too.
Chaguanas West,
Chaguanas West.
PNM 273, UNC 8768 is what we have at this point.
Chaguanas West?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's given there again. Eh?
But this again, as Mr. Simanga said, is a safe seat.
Hmm.
So, and
Trend in the right direction,
Trend,
as
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to say.
It's trending in the correct direction.
yeah. It's quite interesting how it's panning out at this point.
And it looks like
Arangwe St. Joseph, I'm just going back there, PNM 74. This is how, I think we read this result already.
yes, early.
UNC 243. It's still,
Yeah, I heard that, 42
it's still early days. Patriotic Front has a candidate in Arangwe St. Joseph. She has 3 votes. I'm not sure who the other is, who the other small party is in Arangwe St. Joseph.
Gary Griffith is in St. Joseph, you know.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, he got any votes so far?
I'm see we just have it listed as other, so it doesn't look like. So that whole point we were talking about these other parties and the logic of it. Hope Naparima.
San Fernando West, it looks like a 50,
Griffith, 5 votes so far.
50% more.
100%.
100%, thank you.
Anybody? I've not seen any results for Naparima yet on my sheet.
What I hit now, 21, 20.
But results will start coming in fast and furious now. Point 14. This is interesting. PNM 383, UNC 380.
Wow.
Very early, yeah.
Yeah, that's very early. That's very early.
Yeah.
Okay.
But see, we get some Tobago East, we hear that, the TPP lead in Tobago East.
Tobago East.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, yeah?
No, just getting updates,
Yeah, but we are putting up
numbers, yeah.
others when we. Yeah, the figures I have for Tobago East, PNM 900, and they are trailing 1726. That's interesting, eh? If PNM loses those seats.
If PNM loses those seats, they will clearly they will clearly be
Right, Tobago East?
back foot.
Yeah.
Because that will be, they will be, if they lost those two, they are 22 right now,
Yeah.
so they will be at 20. And UNC would be at 19. Just assuming it stays as is, and the 2 Tobago seats in Tobago, so they may not be a coalition, but when coming to vote for particular bills,
Yeah.
or even the budget, they need a simple majority for the budget, so they may have
I'm just
some type
putting
of
up
agreement.
a result for Tobago West. PNM is in the lead slightly, 1167 versus 1050.
Yeah. There, the third parties seem to have some impact, the PDP.
Yeah.
If you look at their votes, added to the,
So that it's quite.
What is Tobago West again? You want to just call out?
Tobago West,
11 something and
1167 PNM versus 1050.
if you add up the others, is what, 600-700?
Oropouche East has just come into figures here. PNM 830, UNC 8283.
They can call that.
We could call that.
We can
yeah.
call that.
But I think these are, there are no surprises here, right?
we ain't about to Spain yet, eh?
No.
Yeah, no.
People, they have the UNC saying that they want Chaguanas East also, eh?
Yeah.
Chaguanas East.
Yeah, you can see we get the figures for that.
Okay, on my sheet, Shagwana's East PNM is 985, UNC 2664, so it may not be updated if they're calling it already. We are waiting on our results. We are pulling results directly from the party headquarters. We are still waiting on PNM results to come in.
That'd be interesting
With our
to
team
see
there, huh?
Santa Grande and St. Joe. Interested to see those figures, eh?
Yeah. What's that? You said I'm
No, I got nothing from those
Yeah,
figures.
but-
Yeah,
You have any Toko Sani Grande?
Yeah.
figures. That'd be interesting to see that. We got Annapurna initially, UNC doing.
Toko Sangre Grande, I don't have any figures yet.
I'm trying to get them to she right now.
So while we wait for further results, what do you believe? I mean, we are seeing UNC trending, as you say, in the correct direction. What would you attribute that to at this point?
I think what we would have done, we would have really learned from the American campaign, and even how Trump would have run his campaign. He ran his campaign on policies, what he could do to build back the country. Our campaign was really run on what we are going to do to rebuild Trinidad and Tobago. Because it is clear that the PNM would have given up at this point in time. I'm certain they themselves would have been trying to figure out what went wrong. But our campaign was really built on one of inclusiveness, despite few grumblers would have gotten out and tried to pull a wild card and go on the next one platform and bad talk. The same persons they were bad talking the day before, hogging them up and bad talking our party. But I think the electorals were much more mature than that and realizing those were just grumblers and they were just on their own self-aspiration.
Yeah.
And maybe, I mean, there's quite a lot of lawyers there. They may have felt that if the PNM would have won, they may have got more briefs than what they get now. So I am certain they may have been looking at their pockets and see what's best for them, not what's best for the country.
Yeah, I see.
But our campaign was really built on one of rebuilding, one of salvaging, and one of putting Trinidad and Tobago back on the steady foot and the steady course to move Trinidad and Tobago forward, so that our children, grandchildren, our future generation can then have somewhere a little more comfortable for them.
I'm just putting up a graphic here. It says seats won, but it's not won. This is the status at this time, based on our figures that are coming in. We have the PNM leading in 2 and UNC in 14.
I have a prediction here, identical to yours, yeah? Right, 26 for UNC,
I need
14
UNC.
for PNM, and 1 Tobago.
And one Tobago.
Yeah, this is what somebody, would just say, have credible sources that are saying that.
Yeah, I'm going to Princestown. I'm told that we have some figures for Princestown.
So it means PNM and Tobago.
Okay, so Princestown, PNM 1775, UNC 6,230, Patriotic Front 281. Yeah, so that's Princestown. I guess there are no surprises here again.
No.
Yeah, with those. Waiting to get.
Sinapuna looking excited by, let me call it Fena.
Sure.
Yeah.
Roger Alexander 3,180, Ford 2610, Sam Gopi 13, Akisha Henry 115, I don't know that, Keisha Pierre 52.
So let's put up that graphic. Tunapuna, PNM 2610, UNC 3,180. And the other smaller parties, Patriotic Front 150, and we just have it as other 37. We in our election results 2025, we basically focusing on PNM and UNC, where the results will dictate the future really in terms of the country's governance.
Well, what is interested NTA didn't seem to make any impact, eh?
No. They clearly did not in this part of the
Puch, you could
constituency.
call it win already. Puch is PF 355. Munilal, UNC 8,283. Richard Rugby, PNM 830.
Okay.
Lord. Tobago East.
PNM, I have Tobago East up here. PNM 900, we can put this up.
Yeah, got it.
PNM 900
Yes.
and 1726. So, gentlemen, would you say trends are starting to show?
Oh, definitely. It's again, it's trended in the correct direction. As to where we will be at the end of tonight. UNC will be at minimum 26 seats, at minimum. If we continue with this trend that we are seeing, you might see a Laventil seat come out. Incidentally, when you look at the elections go on by, and you look at the amount of people voting in Laventil, for instance, Laventil doesn't carry more than I think it's 11 or 12,000 votes. If you can find one of those old results, the PNM would get about 8 or 9,000 of the UNC, and then the other party will get about 1,500.
Let's go to
Total voters.
Let's go to 2020.
Check it and see.
Yeah.
That's a normal thing outside here. Those sort of figures.
We're looking for Laventil. Laventil East Mova. In 2020, PNM got 10,356 votes.
You see?
UNC 1965. 2015, 13,662 versus UNC 1599. And in 2010, 10,796. UNC had a larger showing in 2010, 3,730.
Yeah, but they went down 10 from 15, 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in 2020, really PNM is winning with the largest turnout there was in 2015, 1362, based on our history. 2020 had a low turnout of 47% in Laventil East Mova. Laventil West.
Put on Sanigan, you looking well, like said, right?
Yes, we close there. I think those would dictate what happens there, those two.
Simangal, you were right. Average voter turnout is around 10,000. 9,000 in 2020, 13,000 in 2015, 10,000 in 2010.
And those are hardcore PNM constituencies. So I wouldn't be surprised that if they would lost one of those or one of the hardcore PNM constituency down at the west.
Well, we'll wait and see.
We wait and see those. We wait and see those.
Yeah, we are you all getting any from your sources? From our sources, I'm not getting them yet. Any of the traditional PNM constituencies where we are depending on results from Balize House.
With St. Joseph, after 10 polling divisions, UNC 1924, PNM 933.
Where is that?
Around St. Joseph.
St. Joseph.
After
900.
Yeah, that after 10 polling divisions.
Okay.
So it's released still, yeah, but
yeah.
in the UNC ahead there.
It's earlier. Those would be the ones closer to the to the voting booth.
So, after all the hype, after all the campaigning, we are at the point of getting results like these. At this time, let's just take a commercial break and then we will continue. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
It's Extra Foods, plenty for 20, back to school bonanza. Gotta apples, 10 for $20. Fruit Cool Kids, 8 for $20. Rosemont chicken Vienna sausages, 4 tins for $20. Perdix chicken fries, 2 for $20. Swiss spaghetti, 3 packs for $20. Kirkland chewy granola bars, 8 for $20. Swiss peanut butter, $20. Europe fries 1 kilogram, $20 a pack. And so much more. Plus, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for even more specials. Extra Foods, always extra for less.
ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions, and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam C. Mangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for La Hoqueta Del Paro, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner, or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro, and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations. ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions, and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam C. Mangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for La Hoqueta Del Paro, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations. ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for La Hoqueta Talparo, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Welcome back to Election Results 2025 on ieTV. Results continue to come in, trending in a particular way. At this time, I want to pass over to Mr. Simangal as he wants to make certain comments.
Yeah. So, thank you, Pandit. The results from La Hoqueta Talparo seems very promising at this point in time, and you will get it from this station. So I think you will need to tune in to this station for the rest of the afternoon, because wherever La Hoqueta Talparo goes, the entire election goes. At this point, and it's early days still, because these are most of the PNM PDs would have come in from La Hoqueta and those areas, because they are closest to the returning station. And at this point, it is 6,796 for the UNC and 4,753 for the PNM. Let me just repeat it. 6,796 for the UNC and 4,753 for the PNM. So I think, again, it is clearly trending in the right direction. So by the end of tonight, we would now be seeing back again for the second time in the history of this country a constituency that was always felt to be in the bowels of the PNM returning back to the
So
United
let's just, can I ask my master control team to put up this graphic? La Hoqueta Talparo. What we are seeing, you're saying 4,753.
So it is 4,753 for the PNM and 6,796 for the UNC, and this is coming from the campaign office
From the campaign office itself.
in the constituency itself. So you wouldn't get this result anywhere else except on ieTV. So I advise all of you to tune in and keep tuning in. We
Yes.
will have this, we'll be calling this seat very shortly.
And for your friends who may not have cable on ieTV, I would suggest you can get us on www.ietvtt.com. Again, www.ietvtt.com. You can get us online there. So we continue with results. Mr. Maharaj, anything you want to add at this point?
Man, plan, God decide, and the people speak.
People speak.
And that's what we have to respect.
Yeah.
We hope that whoever wins understand the status of the economy, what is happening on the trade
Yeah.
dispute in the world, and how we spend our money, what promise we made. We had to be very careful. Whoever turned out to be the winner, and if the revenue cannot afford it, we should not, like devaluation, we hear all these things. I really want people to pay attention.
Well, I think the UNC, if I recall, had made it very clear that they are not going to consider devaluation
Yeah,
at all.
they said so.
That, we have another, let's go back to Chaguanas West. This seat is probably ready to be called, is it? If you look at these figures. 273 for PNM.
Chaguanas West, you can call it when it reaches 10,000.
UNC 8,768 and Patriotic Front 122.
Again, the Patriotic Front is not really making any dent in this,
Yeah.
or any impact in this. So the third party is not making any impact at all in this particular election. But I just want to take up from what Mr. Maharaj have left out.
Yeah.
I think it's about time that government stop taking people for granted. They stop taking the citizenry for granted, because this generation, I've said, is the fourth generation from independence to now, and really they are not going to put up with any complacency by any government. It could be our government, PNM government, whoever comes in there, they are not going to put up with complacency anymore. And government must realize that when they are in power, when they are in office, they serve all the people and not just a few and their friends. And that is what had happened to PNM. Foster Cummins came into Laokeda Talparo, and when he came into Laokeda Talparo, he literally forgot the youths of the constituency. Those are the ones who put him in office, but when he came there, he forgot about them. There were no development for the youths, there were no employment, there were no creation of opportunities for the young people, and that is one of the things that the young people would have looked at. Matter of fact, the only time that constituency ever saw development was under 2010 to 2015, and that was under me. But other than that, it had no development, even before and after.
Yeah.
And when I had campaigned there for the last 4 weeks, I was in there campaigning, the spirit of the people started uplifting once
But I think
again.
the point Mr. Maharaj made is a valid one. The elections will finish tonight. We will have a result. Let's say it does go in the UNC way. The promises that were made and the commitments made, the issue now is really delivering on these things. We have another election result. Let's go to Naparima. If you can put up Naparima, please. PNM 181, UNC 1588, Patriotic Front 40. Okay. Now we are going over to PNM headquarters as we have our reporter Micah joining us. Micah, do tell us what's happening at PNM headquarters. Hi, Micah. We can ask you to give us your update now. Okay, we seem to be having some audio issues here. We'll go back to Micah when that is sorted out. So Naparima, we have that result at that point at 181 PNM, UNC 1588. Couva North, I'm still not seeing figures. None of the Diego Martin seats, which I'm hoping Micah would give us an update on. Naparima was the last update we had.
I think Tobago East is trending in a direction away from the PNM as well. Something we need to keep our eyes on.
Tobago
East.
Yeah.
We don't have the exact numbers, but we know that it is trending away from the PNM.
We put up Tobago East on my screen. The last I have is PNM 900 versus 1726.
Yeah, TPP leader.
Yeah, TPP at 1726.
Right. And I think the updated ones is that they are still leading in that particular seat. So you have to keep our eye on that Tobago East, because if PNM lost that Tobago East, and clearly they would lost Laokeda Talparo, they would have lost 2 seats. Yes, they would have
Bring
lost
them-
2 seats and they will bring them down to 20.
Yeah.
So clearly there are 41 seats total. There would be a minority government if there is no partnership or relationship between the UNC in Trinidad and the Tobago seats.
Well, I'm just putting up a graphic here based on our results at this time from the seats we have been declared. So it's only 19 seats we're looking at here.
Yes.
PNM is leading in 2. UNC is leading, UNC and Coalition leading in 16. And it would be the Tobago seat.
So it might be looking
And
like a
other-
33-3. That era of the 33-3.
That's quite.
No,
But for
I
Cuba
don't-
South here, you have the UNC 1150, Adarat, Aaron Mohammed PNM 211, and Patriotic Front 61. So UNC ahead in
It's
Cuba
trending,
South.
yes.
Cuba South, yes. Our graphic 211, UNC 1150.
Yeah.
I didn't have the
And we have
Patriotic
Tunapuna,
Front
we have-
updated.
Patriotic Front 61.
You have to turn up on the screen, check.
Yeah. Let's go back to Tunapuna.
Tunapuna very close, still. But UNC pull ahead 5,000 to 4,
So 4,399.
4, yeah.
Okay, no, our graphic is not updated yet on that.
But the
UNC is ahead,
The
but
latest one
my
is
figures are not.
UNC is 5,081 and PNM 4,399.
Okay. Yes, PNM 4399, UNC 5081. Those are the latest results to be updated on our system here.
If you want Malaba Mohsaka, right, UNC 3045 and the PNM 2958.
That one.
That's surprising.
That one we have to keep our eyes on.
Lisa Morris, eh?
Yes, that one we have
Yeah.
to keep. We have to keep our eyes on that one.
Yeah, it's not updated.
Because
on
the last
our
time that seat was won was under Anna Roberts in the
Yeah.
in
No, Lisa
2010.
Morris won it.
No, in UNC.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, UNC in 2010, 2015, Anna Roberts had that particular seat. I have always felt that that's a seat can be won at any day once everything is gelling and God is on our side. I feel that that particular seat can swing. So let's keep our eyes on that seat and see what is happening tonight. We have any results on the Arima seats? Because we had won that seat in 2010. Arima and Lupino Bonne, we need to keep our eyes on those 2 seats. Mr. Maharaj,
You can get Arima.
Arima, I'm sitting, you can comment on Arima. You are the mayor.
Well, I think
Micah,
Penelope
and you have
Beckles
audio.
was unopposed but in the selection, and she spoke Arima for the last 37
Okay,
years.
now, yeah.
And she has created a brand name in Arima. Although Arima needed a lot of other services, but as the mayor, we were hoping to get this
Yeah.
thing at town hall and all these
Yeah,
other things.
yeah.
For 7 years we haven't,
Well, it's a
But-
work in progress. At this time, let's go over to Kevin Maraj at UNC headquarters.
There's an echo in there. I think they need to mute the television.
We have no audio,
when they're
guys.
speaking. They need to mute the television when
We
they're
should just tell
speaking.
me on audio.
But they tell them to mute the television when they are speaking, and that's what the problem is, because they're getting feedback from the television they're looking at
They
the
don't know
monitor.
the system they're using.
Yeah.
You getting audio?
You see the map there? They're taking up to Tobago East.
They painted blue already? And they have the other one that's shaded. You see the shaded red, not red.
Yeah,
Oh,
Shaded
no,
red.
I can't sort out the audio.
wanted to have secured as we go along to make it to reach this point, because I know you've been there.
Well, we would have focused a lot
You need to view the monitor and
the
then
training of our personnel that are in the various constituencies
Bring on
and
votes.
so on, largely because of the issues we were having with the Elections and Boundaries Commission, not just in this campaign but previously. And we wanted to be sure that our people were well trained,
Okay, so we had
understood
to
their
still
rights,
having
understood the
some
law and so on.
look at
So we
UNC
focused a lot
headquarters there.
on
Now we come
training
back
for-
to, there was some conversation on ARIMA. Do we have any results on ARIMA that,
You have Tanapuna here as at 9:45.
Tunapuna?
Yeah. The PNM 4,399 and the UNC 5,081.
Yes, I have this graphic updated. You can put it up. PNM 4399, UNC 5081, Patriotic Front 150, others 37. So
Which one is that?
UNC is leading. It's a close. It's not a big lead. I don't know.
500, about 500.
Yeah. Anybody have an idea of the? We won't know from this the actual polling stations
yeah.
as yet. So we just have to keep monitoring. But UNC is leading here.
It's too early to call. That's way early days.
Way too early.
Yeah, way early days.
What's the total number of electors there?
It will be around 26,000.
20.
The average is around 26.
And 60% of that is how much?
Yeah, Tanapuna about 27.
Constituency history. I'm just going to constituency history for Tunapuna.
The last time 17,000 people voted.
What people voted last time?
17,000 people voted. The
60%.
yeah.
Of
In
27.
2020, PNM had, this was close, 9,460 votes. 7,533 was UNC.
Yeah.
And I have other. The Simangal, who that other would have been in 2020? 7, 5, do you recall?
I don't recall that one.
Yeah, but it's a
Let's
large,
check.
there may have been maybe a glitch on my system. I'm
No,
not
you had
sure.
PEP. That's it basically.
Yeah, 27,000 is the electorate. 27,433 in
Good cover.
Tunapuna.
6,000, they could
The
call
only
that.
people was PEP 228, so it doesn't make
10.
much of a
Yeah, it could
difference.
have about 10.
So Tunapuna is still too early for us to make any. We're looking for updates in Arangwe, St. Joseph too. And Barataria Sawa, I've not had any results, any updates there yet. Because so, gentlemen, while we may continue our conversations, the whole issue of the ability of the incoming government to make good on commitments made, either side. Anyone wants to comment on that?
Raj? Incumbent, you can go first.
At this stage, what's the question you asked again?
The whole issue of any party that wins this election, given the situation the country is in, to make good on these promises, is it that our electorates, our citizens' expectations are going to be very high?
Yes.
To get results.
Well, this is one thing, whoever win, I said it before, and I'll say it again, is that we have to be very careful of the next government, where, as a businessman, I could tell you that you could only spend what your income is, what the profit is. And they may have to prioritize what is important, and some of these promises, they have to be very, very careful. If I use one of land and property taxes, this have been going on for years, hundreds of years ago, and that should be not a written off thing, but people should really find out what is best and where the revenue go. And I mentioned before that this world trade war is going on between especially China and Australia. It have a whole impact on our revenue income here, especially where U.S. government revoked the deal on the dragon gas. I pray to God there is something could help this country with the next government. I say next government, that they proceed with caution. The good news is this morning, look at the news, President Trump did say he will going to make a deal with China. And if he makes that deal, as I said, what is happening when the world cough, we catches the cold. So if there's a deal with China, there is hope we could probably find a way. But the kind of relation we had with the U.S. government, we could read on our plea to get back that dragon gas deal.
We'll hold our thought there on these promises that are made and exploding, for example, property tax. Let's go back to Tobago East. We're seeing PNM 1216 versus 2445.
You have some here, the UNC claiming Sama Bharat area with Saddam Hussein 7,122 and PNM candidate 3,389.
Okay, let's get that up. So we're looking at Sawa Bharat area seems to be going back to the UNC.
Yeah, well, almost 11,000 votes counted already.
Bharat area, Sawa.
Yeah.
What is the total vote out of that?
Sama Bharat area.
Take 60% from that.
Yeah, Sama Bharat area, if you can find it. Bharat Sama is normally, last time people voted, 15,700 voted. So
that's how much voted there. That's the amount. That's about 60% of the total population.
Yeah, so that. Also, the UNC declaring Chaguanas East, Claxton Bay, and Mayaro.
Okay, they are declaring it.
That is UNC declaring. So
UNC declaring. The EBC hasn't yet. We just
no, but UNC declared.
Yeah. My figures at Chaguanas East is still PNM 985, UNC 2664. Waiting for those updates.
And apparently in Tanapuna, the lead is increasing. It's gone up to 1,000 now.
Where?
In Tanapuna.
Okay, so we can let's go back to Tanapuna.
It was 500 just now.
Yeah, so the lead is up.
Because that would be another seat that swings over if this goes this way. PNM, the figures I have is PNM 5189, that's yours, UNC 6105.
No, but they're gone up by, the lead is 1,000 now.
This is about 1,000 lead here.
Yeah, okay, right.
UNC PNM 5189, UNC 6105, Patriotic Front 150, and the other smaller parties 37. So Tunapuna UNC is currently in the lead here again. Again, Mr. Member, we don't know which polling
It's
station.
still slim to call, so we keep we'll keep our eyes on that one.
Yeah.
We'll keep our eyes on that one.
San Fernando West.
San Fernando West, I'll be interested in
San Fernando West. Pull up those figures. We're saying 565 for the PNM, 1,102 for the UNC.
The old thing.
That's what we have right now, so that it's not updated beyond.
I have that here too.
On our seat, but UNC is also leading San Fernando West. Be interesting to see San Fernando East. Do we have any results for San Fernando East at this point?
It looks like we win Tobago.
I have Lauca at Alfaro.
Good, I demand.
I have Lauca at Alfaro. So again, I told you all, stay tuned to ieTV tonight. We will be calling Lauca at Alfaro. With 6 polling stations to come in only, UNC 8,392. and PNM 5,626. And you only 6 more polling stations to come.
You will repeat those figures?
So we are 8,392 UNC and PNM 5,626.
From
And these are polling stations that come in way off polling stations. These are polling stations that are not closest to the returning officer. Those are UNC.
In all the marginals so far, UNC appears to be leading.
That's right. I think we will take all the marginals.
San
We'll take all the
Fernando West,
marginals.
no, this isn't marginal. San Fernando West, apparently, UNC leading by 700.
In San Fernando West?
Yeah.
I'm manning seat to the other one, how are we? As I
Yeah, no worries.
Yes,
As are we?
I think people want to
Yeah,
have
because
out of this.
San
so
Fernando
we'll
West,
see.
we can put up that graphic. PNM 565, UNC 1102.
Big difference.
That's leading by. Still, that's early days, huh?
That's what it
It's
is.
too early to.
But come back to Laokita, it's trending in a positive direction. Let's keep our eye on it. I wouldn't call it just yet, but let's keep our eye on it.
Professor, what is the total?
That's a
What
2000 lead
I'm
you have,
seeing
I
a
see
lower,
here.
a lower
A 2000 lead.
These two.
13,000 voted so far.
8 and 6, 14. See how much you have in all
You also updated more than mine. Sir.
Yeah, mine is coming straight from the our constituency.
Right, so put up
What is total
Lahokita,
voters there?
PNM
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
5,006.
14.
These are the figures you have,
So
sir?
this-
5,626.
2,000 are good again.
And UNC 8,392.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge
You have the total voters here, Professor.
lead there.
27,000.
Why 60, but the same thing?
Same
Yeah.
thing.
16
All is
votes.
15,000.
Yeah, all is around 20.
All is around
Okay,
15,
let's just go to
16,000.
Caroni Central.
You have 1,000. This
My
one.
figures at this time is PNM 966, UNC 6,000.
Well, that's a hardcore
184.
seat. Yeah, that's a hardcore seat.
That
So that's-
you could call that.
We can call that, yeah.
one. We can leave that one.
But clearly UNC within the traditional seats.
They're traditional, and they are now
Let's
picking
put up
up.
Barataria Sawa.
That's a traditional
This is
again.
interesting. PNM 3389,
Right.
UNC
701.
7,122.
So you can almost call that. They call it. They think they won already. That's 10,000, 11,000 votes out of
15.
No, but that seat was already with UNC, so it's not. Yeah, so
but
it's just
marginal
they're
still.
retaining it.
Remember the PNM had it before, yeah? Until
Yeah,
Fuad
yeah.
won it. Yeah.
And Saddam Hussein was a strong candidate. I mean, awareness and
Declared.
so we continue with our
Yeah,
election
declare-
results. We
declare
just take
this,
a quick
we-
commercial break and return. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
It's Extra Foods Plenty for 20 Back to School Bonanza. Gather apples 10 for $20. Fruit Cool Kids 8 for $20. Rosemont Chicken Vienna Sausages 4 tins for $20. Perdix Chicken Franks 2 for $20. Swiss Spaghetti 3 packs for $20. Kirkland Chewy Granola Bars 8 for $20. Swiss Peanut Butter $20. Europe Fries 1 kilogram $20 a pack. And so much more. Plus check us out on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok for even more specials. Extra Foods. Always extra for less.
Ekta India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions, and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for La Hoqueta Del Paro, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UWI Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Welcome back to Election Results 2025. At this time, we are going over to PNM headquarters with Micah Dume, our reporter on location.
Just a quick update. Can you all hear me? I'm just checking to make sure that I am being heard. Can you all hear me clearly? Are you all hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you, Micah. Please go ahead.
Are you all hearing me?
Yes, Micah, we are hearing you. Please proceed.
All right, great. So the Prime Minister arrived at around 9:40 p.m. He would be observing the crowd at 10, but that time has passed, so we're just waiting 5 minutes before the Prime Minister, along with other members of the PNM, come to address the crowd. However, results are coming in slowly at the moment, even with EBC. The results are slow on the website, so we're just waiting for the Prime Minister to come and speak with us.
All right, thank you very much, Micah. As soon as we have more, we'll join you back from PNM headquarters. We'll try and go over to UNC with Kevin in a few minutes. Gentlemen.
UNC headquarters, Faizabad, PNM 3270, UNC 8841.
Okay, again, so the results continue coming in. Faizabad, those results will be put up. Kumoto Manzanilla, have we had any updates? My last report here is PNM 42, UNC 243. I've not had anything else from Kumoto Manzanilla at this point.
UNC called Faizabad.
Well, we are being told that the UNC has called Faizabad. The figures we would need to get. Again, that's UNC calling it. EDC hasn't called it.
It's a UNC seat as well.
It's a UNC seat as well, so it should be okay. Yeah.
So we are trying to find out what is happening with Lupino Bonne with the latest on Tunapuna. More of the marginals to see where we are.
Yeah. We'll go back to Tunapuna and see what we have. Our results currently, PNM 5189 and UNC 6105. Those are the results that are up on the screen for Tunapuna now. I don't know if we've had any further updates. Our Master Control will tell us as we go. Micah said from PNM where the results are coming in very slowly. In fact, we have not had our spreadsheet updated with any yet for the PNM constituencies. For those of you who are wondering why we are not reporting on them, is because we have not been getting those figures from our reporters on the ground at that point.
I can give you an update on Laokeda Talparo.
Sure.
It's now UNC 8,684 and a PNM 5,735. So we have clearly reached the high point in the United National Congress on UNC in that particular seat. So 5 more polling stations to come. Shortly we'll be getting the
All right,
the latest
so
results. So this is
be
on
very
the
happy
ball.
with this, yes.
This is on the ball.
Okay, so we now have Kevin at UNC headquarters, Kevin Maraj, our reporter on the ground. We now go over to him. Kevin, please update us.
What we see in that the vote is coming, the count is coming in slow. What we see Claxton Bay formerly Point of Pierre, which is now Claxton Bay. We see the UNC, which is Hansel Narine, at a lead at 9,209 votes, and the PNM is at 4,602. As I said, the numbers are coming in very slowly, but we keep you abreast on what's going on so far. The crowd is very optimistic, and outside is packed right now. As I said earlier, all the media houses are here. They're working diligently to keep you abreasted, and we'll keep you posted on as much as the votes come in. We'll keep you abreast.
Okay, so we've gotten there. Kevin, can you give us a sense of the mood at UNC headquarters at this time with the results that are being seen?
Yes, the mood here is very cheerful. The place they're conversing amongst themselves. Everyone is in a happy mood. The atmosphere is it's very vibrant, you know. And as the results come in, everyone they're cheering. They started giving out flags and whistles and whatnot. Outside, there's a screen outside which everyone is keeping track of the results, and yeah, all in all, everyone is very happy.
We were told that Siparia was already called. Have you gotten that sense from UNC headquarters?
Sorry?
We're told that Siparia.
Yes. Siparia has been declared by the opposition leader. She, as I was told, she visited her constituency and she gave a speech there, and Siparia has been declared.
All right, so keep us updated. Kevin, we will now move over to PNM headquarters, where our reporter there, Micah Dume, will update us. Micah, you're on.
Thank you.
Okay, so while we get that issue sorted out, we now go to Aruka Lopino. We have some results on Aruka Lopino. PNM 4115 and UNC 3672. So the PNM is leading here, Aruka Lopino. Gentlemen.
Those are the PDs for the PNM that are closest to the returning officer, and those will be the heavier PNM PDs. So let's hope that it changes as the night go along. It's very early days still. That's only 8,000 persons voted. That's just about 1/3 of the number for that particular constituency we're getting. So let's see what's happened during the course of the night. I am confident that it will change. So let's because if things are trending in this direction, I am quite confident that that result will change shortly.
So it appears from what we are seeing so far, well, what we will call the hardcore PNM constituencies, we have not gotten the feedback from our team yet. But most of the marginals, they are going to the UNC. The UNC is in fact leading. Professor Prakash?
Yeah, I mean, as Mr. Simanga said, there's a trend in that even San Fernando East, right? The UNC
San Fernando East.
Yeah, the leader.
Okay, let's go to San Fernando East. We have PNM 4,404. Let's put up that graphic, gentlemen. 4,404. UNC 4,962. That's interesting.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
That's very interesting.
That's very interesting.
What we'll be interested to see whether there's a kind of sweep now.
Yes.
Reminiscent of the NAR days, eh?
No, well, I mean, it's still early for us to discuss that, because if that happens, then there is such a high expectation in terms of what should be delivered. You know, while we continue getting results, Mr. Maharaj made the point about property tax. Yes. Now, the UNC made it very clear in their run-up to the election that it will remove property tax. Yeah, so that any backpedaling and backtracking on that would be quite surprising.
Let me jump in here.
Please.
During 2010 to 2015, we have tried on 3 occasions to revert to the former property tax. We have had 3 versions of that bill come to the cabinet for approval and come before. I was a member of the LRC, that's the Law Review Committee.
Right.
And 3 versions came before, and we were never getting it right. And I strongly believe at that point in time, I could be wrong, but I strongly believe at that point in time is that the public servants themselves did not want to change and go back to the old property tax, because they see it as a revenue earner for the country, while we were seeing it as a burden for citizens. And we were forecasting exactly what is happening now. It's a very, very unfair, draconian measures. I'll tell you why.
Okay, let's hold that thought.
I'll tell you why.
We'll hold that thought. We'll continue there. We're going over to UNC headquarters with Kevin Maharaj. Kevin, you're on.
Hi, we're here with Mr. Johnny Abraham, former Senior Superintendent Fishery Corners. Mr. Abraham, tell me, how are you tonight, given that the results are coming in?
Well, since I joined the police service in 1977, I never fight a losing battle. Having joined the United National Congress a couple of years ago, I'm an official member. And I joined here because I know we're not going to lose this battle at all. I'm very elated because one of my objectives is to help the party deal with the criminal situation in Trinidad and Tobago, crime and criminality. And I promise people where I work with Ms. Jolene John, I work with Mr. Watts, I work with Ms. Khadija Amin, I work with Roger Alexander, I work with Mr. Lee. And everywhere I went to, I promised people that we're going to bring down crime and criminality in their community. And we're going to work towards that, because I, as a person who don't like to make promises to people that we cannot be fulfilled. Right? So I'm looking forward for this new government to come in, for we to do what we set out to do, to achieve what was written in the manifesto and what was spoken on the platform and during the campaign. And I stand by that. And according to the great leader, Ms. Kamala Passadisasa, when UNC wins, everybody wins.
How was it voting for you today when you went out to campaign?
My number was 001, the first person on the list. I spent about 5 minutes in the station. Very, very effective, and it was smooth flowing.
I know some other constituencies had little hiccups when they took to cast their vote for the time limit, the time frame it took.
Yeah.
Did you experience any of that?
No, I didn't experience that at all. But you see, the thing is that plenty of people don't know that once you reach in the line before 6 p.m., you're entitled to vote, whether the voting go until 10 p.m., 11 p.m., it doesn't matter. But once you reach in that line before 6 p.m., you're entitled to vote. Yeah.
Mr. Johnny Abraham, we're really glad to have you here. I know the crowd is looking very anxious and they're happy that you know how the results are coming in so far.
Well, yes, I know that. You see, that what I tell you, I never joined no losing team in my whole career, my whole life. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Yeah. All right, back to you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Quite interesting. So, gentlemen, Faizabad. If you put up that graphic, Faizabad, PNM 3270, UNC 8841.
They called it also.
Sure, we could call that.
That one, yeah, that's
Yeah?
a safe seat.
Yeah.
That's
So while we wait on further updates, Mr. Simangalji, you were telling us property tax
Yes,
and the
property
various
tax.
versions. Yes.
Property tax, and that property tax was designed to to penalize persons who would have worked hard over the years and built a house that may be better looking than his neighbor, paint his house maybe in a better color than his neighbor, maybe put in a swimming pool that he would enjoy with his family and don't have to leave the house to go out somewhere else and have bandits and you know, hold him up. And this measure was designed by the PNM to penalize persons, hard-working persons, who would have put in the work and earned some dollars, and then at the end of the day, his neighbor is paying $300 in a tax, and he's paying $6,000 and $7,000 in a tax. Where on earth that is fair?
Yeah, yeah.
Why penalize persons who would have worked hard, who would have not, Mr. Maharaj, know those times? You go to school in rubber slippers, pitch oil lamp, late at night to study and educate yourself, have a proper job, a better job than someone else, and then you now have to be turned around and being taxed heavily. It's a penalty. And not
I think so. Do you think a lot of
fair
people, these
system.
promises that were made, a lot of people would have gravitated towards them? Removal
clearly,
of property tax.
clearly,
I mean,
because
crime is a major issue, but other than that,
property tax was a big one on resting on person's mind, because yes, person want to continue paying tax, because paying tax is something that older people and most people feel that when you pay tax, you hold on to your deed and you wouldn't lose your land. So we want to pay tax, but yes, we want to pay a fair system. Let everybody across the board pay a fair tax and not be penalized for hard work, not be penalized for sweat and blood
that
outside.
certainly was one of the areas I think that weighed on voters' minds. Let's go back to Tobago East. We're pulling up Tobago East, 1352 versus 2618. That's the latest figure we have. That would be PNM again trailing.
And Tobago West, do we have any numbers of Tobago West?
Tobago West, let me just pull up Tobago West.
Oh, it's looking neck and neck.
Can we update Tobago West on screen, please?
Tobago West.
PNM 4935 is what I have now, and 4951.
51, so it's really neck and neck.
It's 12 votes.
Huh?
12 votes. I feel this Tobago West will go down to the wire.
Apparently, that Dr. Rowley considered defeat.
In both?
No, well, we can't go.
So this is what we.
We won't go there with that until
we wouldn't.
Rowley is not Prime Minister.
Yeah.
To concede defeat.
He's the leader of the party, so.
We
wouldn't.
I think we would
take that one just yet.
We'll take that one just yet.
Yes, we'll take it. We'll take it a little later down.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting the latest on Laokeda Talparo as we are.
Yeah, that's
the seat.
Apparently, it was announced on Century 3.
Well.
Yes. Well, that's another network.
That's another network.
Yeah,
we
have
are
to be
not going to
careful.
go with that.
Well, that's why we say it's not from here, but it's
from another station.
Yeah. Can we get some more figures on Orang West and Joseph, if possible? If you can contact our people there to get an update. I mean, certainly, I think by now the trend is relatively clear. Let's go back to Tunapuna, another one of the areas that we're going to watch closely. Tunapuna, PNM, let's put this graphic up. PNM 6,591.
Wow.
UNC 8,105.
This one has clearly tread in the best direction.
Yeah. That's 8 and 6, 13. That's like 13,000, 14,000 votes almost.
And 100,000, 15,000 is the average.
Yeah.
So 1,000, I don't know where the other votes coming
The
from.
last 2020, 17,317 votes were cast.
17,000?
Yeah.
Right
So we
now,
still have a way to go, I would say.
yeah, 3,000.
Yeah, so.
8-1.
Yeah. So Tunapuna,
15,000 on the board there already.
But is
That is
going
all.
forward in that direction. But
Yeah,
wait and
okay.
see. Yeah.
yeah. Also to our viewers, we want to remind you the QR code on the screen, you can scan it, that way you can send us comments, you can participate if you so desire. Also, you can let your friends know who are not on cable, they can get us on www.ietvtt.com, and we are simulcasting on ieradiott.com. We'll now take a commercial break and then return. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations.
It's Extra Foods, plenty for 20, back to school bonanza. Got apples, 10 for $20. Fruit Cool Kids, 8 for $20. Rosemont chicken Vienna sausages, 4 tins for $20. Perdix chicken fries, 2 for $20. Swiss spaghetti, 3 packs for $20. Kirkland chewy granola bars, 8 for $20. Swiss peanut butter, $20. Europe fries, 1 kilogram, $20 a pack. And so much more. Plus, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for even more specials. Extra Foods, always extra for less.
ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for Lahore Telparo, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV Election Results 2025. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations. ieTV India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for Lahore Kitat El Paro, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV, Election Results 2025. Are you renewing your motor, homeowner or business insurances shortly? Then call Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, for a competitive quote. With 2 locations, Todd Street, El Socorro and 5 Rivers, Aruca. Please call us at 221-5051 or 227-5051. Kalyani Limited, agency for Tatil, building relationships exceeding expectations. Ekta India Tour, July 2025. Arrive in Delhi on July 16th. Visit Delhi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Govardhan, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, Ujjain, Mumbai, Somnath, Dwarka, Bet Dwarka, and much more. For information and bookings, call 784-9880. Join ieTV election results live on Monday 28th April from 7 p.m. onwards. Our broadcast teams will be at PNM headquarters and UNC headquarters to bring you results, reactions and interviews in real time. Our in-studio panel will include His Worship Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima and prominent business leader, Mr. Jairam Simangal, attorney at law, former Minister of Land and Marine Resources, and former Member of Parliament for Lahore Kitat El Paro, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Trade and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, and current CEO of the UV Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and Professor Pandit Prakash Prasad, past President of the University of Trinidad and Tobago, former Chairman of NIHURST, and former Minority Leader in the Senate. Join us live from 7 p.m. on Monday 28th April as Trinidad and Tobago decides. ieTV, Election Results 2025. Welcome back to Election Results 2025 on ieTV. Gentlemen, things are happening fast. What are you hearing?
I think that the UNC definitely, my prediction is coming true. UNC will be taking not less than 26 seats. I see they have already conceded St. Joseph. The Tobago look like it already gone to the Tobago party. And we are trending in Trinidad and Tobago. I can safely call it at this point in time. It's practically impossible for Cummins to come back on a 3,000 deficit right now. So we are looking tonight. We are looking at a new government. It is something that the country has been looking forward to. It is something that the young people have really campaigned and come out for. And it is something I feel that we need to look at, because it is looking now that the only thing left to do is that the PNM to concede. And
well, we're getting reports. We're waiting on a confirmation from Balize House on our side, which I've just gotten, that the PNM has conceded the election. They expect between 10 and 13 seats that may stay with the PNM. We are waiting for these confirmations. We'll go for the Balize House. When we can, let's try and get UNC headquarters. Kevin at UNC headquarters. it's been quite a ride so far.
It's been a joyful journey to be back once again on the helm of this country. Mr. Marge, unfortunately,
No, good.
the party didn't do that well, but you know.
Look, well, I said it in the beginning. I thank the Lord and I thank the people of Trinidad and Tobago for a smooth election with no violence. There were two parties, there were two national parties here. And I hope that we continue to have two national parties in this beloved country. Whoever is the final winner, I repeat myself as a businessman for over 66 years, that we must be very careful of our promises. We must look at the revenue. We must proceed with caution to negotiate, most importantly, with United States of America. We pray to God that we can get back that dragon dancing again, so we can have the funds needed to continue paying for our education, police, hard-working civil servants. Whatever we do, let's think about that, avoiding going to the IMF. So with that, I probably ask the professor to make his comment.
No, well, I think I just got results from St. Joseph with over 11,000 votes.
Well, clearly we can call that.
Yeah, the UNC leading by 3,000 votes. So I think St. Joseph will have gone also.
All right, so let's just go over to UNC headquarters. We have Kevin there. We go over to UNC headquarters. Kevin, can you give us an update on what's happening at that location?
Yes. So right now, the whole entire place is at uproar as the PNM has declared. The outside here, the UNC, it may look dismal here because everyone is outside right now. Music is playing. The crowd is so thick you can't walk through. Everyone is happy. They have declared a victory. The whole atmosphere here is very vibrant and chaotic as it might be. What else can I say? We're here right now, still counting votes. Votes are still coming in, but it's a clear indication that UNC has taken this one.
But do you have any sense of the number of seats, any such information at this point?
Sorry?
The number of seats, is there any clear indication as yet?
No, there is no clear. I can't confirm right now with the exact number. But from what we are hearing here right now, they clearly say that, you know, UNC has a victory in the bag.
Okay, so we should be expecting the political leader at some time shortly?
Yeah, well, she hasn't. As I observed, I haven't seen her as yet. I've seen other political members, but I haven't seen her arrived as yet. When she arrives, we'll be sure to keep you updated, and she'll have a victory speech, I assume.
Yes, we would want to make sure and get that as we go forward. Continue updating us with results and the atmosphere. What's the atmosphere like?
The atmosphere is joyous and happy. As you can see, people just dancing behind me. Outside is a different scenario. You know, everyone is jumping. The place, music is playing. Everyone is just smiling and happy and hugging each other. That, you know, their party has won this somewhat historical election in our history.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. We'll return to you shortly. So, gentlemen, your thoughts?
Professor.
This is like 2010, where I think UNC got about 28 seats.
28,
yeah. So it looks similar to that, because right now it looks like the most PNM can get is 13 seats. So it looks like that. But the other issues have been raised. I mean, I think when you win, I think they need to go through things carefully. They made promises, and I'm sure they'll fulfill it. But I think they need to be a bit careful in the sense that even with the unions, you don't have to, you start the process of negotiation, these sort of things. So if we cut back on wastage in this country, we can do a lot more. I think what they need to focus on also, on other than the crime, which just seem to be, have the guys who look at that, they need to look at job creation, entrepreneurship, and I think that they need to look at the universities working more closely with private sector to create jobs, to move forward.
Yes. So we are going to look at we have footage now of the concession speech with Dr. Rowley, which we would be going to very shortly. In the interim, Mr. Simanga, before we go there?
I want to agree with Professor, is that we need to, now that we have won, we need to look at country building. Country building is not just about developing the youths and developing what they want, but all country building is also looking at all the fiscal measures that we would have promised and balance it against the amount of money that we have, and making sure we leave enough in the coffers for a rainy year, because things are not getting better in the entire world. When you look at the American
trade,
that trade war that is going on, and the ripple effect that it have, not just for America and China and India and those countries, but the ripple effect it has for the Caribbean. Trinidad plays a very important role in that as well. We have to start networking with countries like Guyana, who is doing much better than us with respect to their oil and wealth, and see if we can build that synergy and maybe use the refinery here as a partnership to that country in particular.
I think the electorate certainly has bought into UNC's vision for the future. Let's now go to Balize House with the concession speech.
Tonight is not a good night for the PNM, but it might be a good night for Trinidad and Tobago. From all reports, we have conducted an election. Things have gone very well with the processes. The results are coming in now, and from what we have coming into Balize House, it is clear at this time that we have lost the election. So this press conference is what we do. We've done it before, conceding defeat on election night, but tomorrow is a new day. We've had to concede on the night of December 1986. We conceded in 1995, and we conceded in 2010. So this 70-year-old party, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win. Tonight is one of those nights where, surprisingly, we have not done very well in the general election. But as we know how to do it, from tomorrow, the PNM will begin to prepare itself for the next call within the next 60 months. We wish all the winners well, because our country is now in their hands. From the reports that we have in our hand, it appears as though if the trends hold, the PNM will end up with an opposition in the order of 10 or 12 seats. But we've come back from 1 seat, we've come back from 3 seats, so 10 or 12 seats don't count us out. We will continue to remain faithful to our cause, which is to the interest and the service of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The elections are over, changes will be made, promises to be kept, reviews to be done, rejuvenation to be had. One thing we're happy about is that the PNM will move expeditiously towards its new status as the opposition. The General Council will meet on Wednesday and will direct the elected members of the House as to who should be supported for the position of opposition leader. That is a position that we have held before, and even from there, we provide yeoman service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I, as political leader, Prime Minister of recent vintage, but I still remain political leader, I did at an earlier time say to you, the media, that I've met with the general leadership of the party and indicate to them that I would not want to continue beyond the end of this year as political leader, and would, at their advice, vacate the post as soon as they would like me to, so as to facilitate the requisite convention. We will do that and will conduct our party business with dispatch, with honor, and with gusto in the coming weeks and months. So tonight, I simply want to say that we have kept the faith, we've run the course, and we still have some more running to do. If you have any questions to any of the three of us, we will take a few questions now, and we will go off to our new status.
At this stage, what would you consider
to
be...
Speak loudly because we got a generator
At
there.
this stage, what would you consider to be the key factor or key factors that led to this particular result in this election?
Well, I think the population has chosen. One of the things that we have to be proud about is that in our system of governance, the management is chosen by the population. We went out there and competed for the position, and the population clearly, from Tobago to Point Fortin, the population has chosen the package of promises made by our political opponents. We can't argue with that. We put a package on the table, we put a direction on the table, we had a record behind us of the last 9.5 years. The population has chosen the package of promises. We said that we were a rejuvenated team offering, a new direction, a new chapter. The population chose those persons who they knew before, and on the basis of their past performance, they have been given the government again. We cannot argue with that. We are not going to argue with the electorate. As my grandmother has taught me, if good comes, it comes for all of us. And if bad comes, it comes for all of us. So while tonight at Balizé House there is no rejoicing, as we expected to, we are not despondent. We have not been here for 70 years by holding our heads down. As Mandela said, the problem is, and the shame is, when you go down, not to get up. The PNM has demonstrated when we are down, we come back with a vengeance. And 2025 will be no different.
You think that the issue of how you...
Media members only.
Just one other question.
Yeah, we have a question over here. Okay. That will be determined on Wednesday at Balizé House.
Dr. Oli, is there anything, they say hindsight is 2020, is there anything you would have done differently? I mean, going as far back as you've done to now, is there anything at all you think the party...
I am certainly not surprised. I've started this conversation this afternoon that we are looking at 26 seats. I've looked at the trend and what happened today, and that is why I made up my mind early that this election reminds me very, very, very closely of 2010 election, where the young people came out and they made a decision, and the trend stayed in that direction throughout the night. Mr. Rowley conceded that he just not just lost the election, but he also conceded, would have conceded that the voters, the constituents, did not accept
their package.
Not just their package, but did not accept a prime minister showed on them by him, and not just his party, by him. And Siot Yong was the wrong person for the job.
Well,
and clearly they voted against.
That can be inferred, but he did not say that. I mean, with due respect, he did not say that. I thought his perspective on the reason why they lost. I think it's mature party of 70 years.
70 players.
Yeah. Mr. Maraj, your comments on his speech, on his concession speech.
Well, he demonstrated thing that it's not the first time they go in opposition.
Right.
And he made it abundantly clear. He's a good sportsman, and I didn't hear he congratulate leader,
Yeah.
the new leader. Maybe next time or later on. Well, she has to be commended. And
I want waiting for the full numbers.
With the full numbers, if he said 12,
10 or 12?
10 to 12.
10 to
10
12,
to 12,
yeah.
from 41, the UNC will have two-thirds.
Well, the opposition.
UNC
plus Tobago.
The new government, the UNC, will have two-thirds majority. That speaks for itself. Man plan, God decide.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things can be done now. And from a business point, I beg God that they proceed with caution because that revenue is limited. Permit me to move away from the politics about how the nation is now on business, is that most of our food is imported from away. And if I should say rice, wheat, flour, meat, and I could go on and go on and go on. And the Forex is important for that. And I kept on saying it, the approach we're going to take, we should take as a business person, hold hands with the government and advise them how it's best to negotiate first proceed with caution with the U.S. government.
Well, those discussions, I think, would begin from tomorrow when the new government comes in. But in terms of the concession speech, Professor Prakash, anything struck you?
What I noted is that I thought the Prime Minister would have conceded defeat. That I think I found that a bit interesting, that the Prime Minister didn't concede defeat. He stood at the side of the political leader of the party. I think maybe that is something that the electorate rejected also. They wanted a clear thing. Who is the leader? That didn't come across clearly.
I think one of the questions is whether the PNM membership itself accepted that.
No, well,
that's another question. I mean, the party has to do introspection now.
But the PNM membership forms part of the electorate. It's not so. Right? The other thing is, maybe I'm old-fashioned, right? But I would think that you need to be gracious. You can't, having lost the election campaign, come out and say, well, we lost, I congratulate. Don't, try to say, I think he was politicking when he lost also. I think that doesn't come across well.
So let's move over to UNC headquarters, where the opposition leader and now the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is there at UNC headquarters.
So has arrived. Yeah. At party headquarters. It is a giant crowd here. History is in the making. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has been re-elected the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in a significant victory. She has swept several marginal seats on the east-west corridor.
You want to repeat that?
Yeah.
What is seats
including
Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody
Yeah.
At this point, I want to thank the panel for joining us this evening. It was a pleasure having you gentlemen, having wonderful conversations. Thank you very much. We now return to UNC headquarters. We've done Balize House, the concession speech. Now UNC headquarters, as we take in the sights and sounds.
Everybody wins. When UNC wins. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody
Good evening. Good night. UNC family and friends, I am very happy to join with you here at our party's headquarters. I ask you to join with me to first of all let us say thanks and praise to Almighty God. When God says yes, nobody can say no. I want to thank our coalition partners joined with us for us to secure this victory. So can we give them a round of applause? United Coalition of Interests. And of course, I thank all of you, rank and file members of the UNC who have stood with me through thick and thin, through light and through darkness. You have carried me on a journey that was filled with love, with determination and resilience. I started off this campaign by saying, you will be the real heroes in this story. And I end this campaign saying the same, you are the real heroes in this story of Trinidad and Tobago. All of you, I cannot single out one or two or three. There have been so many thousands of you working in your zones, working in your sections. Today was really a great display of cooperation and of hard work where everyone stood in their zone and worked. Whether the seat was Superior, whether the seat was St. Joseph, whether it was Tunapuna, whichever seat it was, we had teams and teams of activists and people working every single seat. And so they did so well. All of you, thank you for showing up. Thank you for staying on the course and believing in our great party. Thank you, TNT. I say thank you for your support during this campaign. Thank you for your confidence for a better TNT. And for letting the world know that we, the people, have the real power in Trinidad and Tobago. We the people, you are the people, you are the government. Not the fake elites, not the financiers with all their money, but the real people of Trinbago who have toiled and kept faith that you deserve better. This victory is for the senior citizens to keep their pensions. This victory is for public servants to get their rightful salary increases. This victory is to reopen the Children's Hospital. This victory is to reopen Petrotrin. This victory is to once again give laptops to our children. This victory is to create over 50,000 jobs. And so, the victory is yours. Now that the UNC has won, everybody wins. We have fought a clean campaign. We have fought a campaign based on policies, plans, and programs. After years we spent listening to you and taking note of your wants, your needs, your hopes, and your desires. It is now that the real work starts. From day one, we'll be focused on delivering on our promises, working to make every citizen's life better, brighter, more prosperous. I give you the assurance tonight that no one will be left behind. No one will be left behind. Because when UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. We will walk into government together. You will now have a Prime Minister who cares. A Prime Minister who loves you. A Prime Minister who will fight so that we all win together. We will work for you. You are the real bosses, and we are here to serve. Serve the people. Serve the people. Serve the people. You have an elected people-centered government for the people, by the people, and with the people. So permit me again to say thank you. Thank you. Let us rejoice and celebrate this day in our history. This has been a tremendous blessing. And once again, I thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. We will be with you every step of the way over the next 5 years and beyond. And I want to say tonight, and beyond, I want to say tonight to all our candidates who gave everything that they did, every muscle, every sinew they strained and worked so hard. Give it up for all our candidates of the UNC. Give it up for the candidates of the coalition of interests. And I say, get ready to win. It is time to win. Because now that the UNC did win, everybody wins. I have told you before, I have always told you, you have had leaders before me. You will have leaders after me. But I know you will never, ever have a leader who loves you as much as I do. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep each and every one of you. I thank you. Thank you. God bless.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying. One love. Hear the children crying. One heart. Saying, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. UNC, you win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Auntie Kamla win them now. Glory, glory, hallelujah. None of them can come and Auntie Kamla. Take a look, UNC taking over. I know PNM can come wrong. You win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Auntie Kamla win them now. When we don't know, still young them is liar. I'm calling him bird, raise the gas higher. Upon the PNM we gonna dash a fire. Cause no policy can come wrong. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one. Now UNC wins. Everybody wins. Now Kamala wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. We vote for peace. We vote for love. We vote for hope. We vote for change. Now UNC wins. Everybody wins. Now Kamala wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell the others vote for red. Kamala will.
Everybody! When UNC win, everybody wins. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinbago wins. Vote for UNC. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Put your ex next to the rising sun. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell the mother, tell your father, it's time to design. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun.
And so it is, we have come to the end of our production tonight, carrying election results 2025 live. As you have seen, the PNM has conceded, the United National Congress has won, and work begins from tomorrow on government formation and on moving the country forward. On behalf of the entire team at ieTV, we want to thank you for joining us, and I want to thank our broadcast team at PNM headquarters and also at UNC headquarters, and here in Master Control, headed by Darren Buchun and his team. We want to thank you for joining, and our sponsors, thank you very much, and we will keep you informed and continue programming on the developments in the politics in our country. Good night.